Hi, everyone. My name is Roshanne Sihota. I'm a fourth year student in natural sciences here at the University of Calgary, and my project is on the critical reflections surrounding the social dimensions of gene editing technologies. Of course, I have to start by acknowledging the news that the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier for their discovery of CRISPR-Cas9, which is a powerful gene editing tool. Now, with this excitement also comes new questions and uncertainties about the future of gene editing. Many scientists, including Jennifer Doudna herself, are urging people to consider the full range of social implications associated with gene editing, and that's what this project is seeking to address. It's important to note that these conversations are taking place across a wide range of disciplines, not only in medicine, but also in agriculture, conservation, and in the food industry. So this project is looking to investigate and map the role of critical reflection in discussions about gene editing technologies in the current literature. So a little bit of background, what even is gene editing? So gene editing involves physically changing the DNA sequence of a living organism with the goal of improving a trait in said organism. So gene editing technologies such as CRISPR allow for this precise alteration of DNA at the molecular level. So what is critical reflection? Critical reflection is kind of like looking in a mirror, only we're not looking at our physical appearance, we're looking at our knowledge system. So critical reflection is the process of examining the actions, assumptions, and the limitations of what we believe, while keeping in mind that these beliefs are often not universally held. So this project takes on a critical reflective approach when it comes to considering the implications of gene editing. It's really important to remember that advancements in technology also come with potential setbacks, and with something like gene editing that has so many socioeconomic implications, it's important to consider how they'll affect different belief systems held by people from various walks of life. Methods for this study involved a scoping review, and this flowchart maps that process. In the bottom right corner, you can see how the included literature was organized by disciplinary contexts, and this just serves to highlight how conversations about gene editing are highly interdisciplinary discussions. So within each discipline, we identified the major themes that critical reflection used to address the social implications of gene editing. Here are the major themes that we identified. And here is how they were distributed across the literature. So in green, we have agriculture, conservation, and food contexts. In red, we have medical contexts. And in blue, we have broad and non-specific contexts. Based on these frequencies, it was identified that overall regulation, governance, ethics, and stakeholder engagement were the most prominent themes, while inequalities, risk, and education had limited representation in comparison. It's interesting to note that engagement is a prominent theme, yet very few articles address inequalities. And this kind of begs the question that if science seeks to engage a broader public, who does that public really consist of? Is it one that holds privilege that grants individuals access to the scientific community, or does it acknowledge more marginalized groups that don't have the same means by which to make their viewpoints heard? And tying back to our definition of critical reflection, does this mean the scientific community is really taking into account these different belief systems and how they'll be affected in the long run? I still think that there's promise here shown by the educational initiatives addressing gene editing. And even though they're few and far between, articles showing the integration of critical reflection into science education at various levels indicates applicability to a broader public conversation on this topic. This really shows potential for setting the tone for new waves of science citizens that will go on to frame this conversation in society and actively engage in critical reflection, both in academia and in public discussions. I just wanted to mention that in terms of personal learning, this was my first time conducting formal research, and I was very fortunate as a science student to have the opportunity to work on an interdisciplinary project and learn about the social aspects of these scientific technologies in more detail. And on that note, I'd like to thank the University of Calgary's PURE program for funding this research, the Undergraduate Research Symposium for the opportunity to present, and my wonderful supervisor, Dr. Gwendolyn Blue. The full reference list from my scoping review is available through this QR code, but you can also email me for a copy. And thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Please don't hesitate to email me with any questions or comments. Thank you.